Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. Joan served the state of California as a member on the Arts Council and on the Film Commission. She was formerly on the Architectural Commission and fulfilled 2 terms on the Fine Arts Commission for the city of Beverly Hills. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, Condé Nast Publications, and the Hearst Corporation, Joan covered the world of fashion, the mysteries of food, the excitement of theater, and the international art scene. She continues to find people who are on the cutting edge of their professions. Here's Joan AGAJAINIAN Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. We're here in the Hollywood Museum, which is housed in the historic Max Factor building, and our guests are nutritional expert Jackie Keller and artist Hector Zamora. USC graduate, author, and lifestyle health coach, Jackie Keller was born and raised in Los Angeles. She's the founding director of NutriFit, and in that capacity has worked with some of Hollywood's biggest names. She's gotten awards for her charity work and for her food work and for everything that she's done for the public. And we're here with you, and we're excited because you were a cordon bleu trained chef in Paris.
Absolutely, yes.
And did that start you on this healthy kick?
No, definitely not the healthy
Thank
kick
goodness.
part. What started me, actually, Joan, on the healthy part was the death of my dad. Not to bring the conversation down a notch, but he died very, very suddenly when I was a teenager of heart disease. Just really, literally had a heart attack on vacation, died, and never came home. So it really formed, I think, a deep scar that I didn't truly deal with until I had spent a few years in industry and realized that my passion was really in health and in helping people. So while I had a meaningful career, corporate career, you know, climbing the ladder and some great experience in the business world doing those kinds of things for other people.
What were you doing then in the corporate world?
Well, I was a hotel brat, actually. I started out in the hotel industry at the historic Ambassador Hotel.
Oh, fantastic,
It was
really?
in the dying days of the
Yes.
Ambassador, but I still got to see 1 or 2 shows at the Coconut Grove, and
So did
I was
I.
a management trainee, and it was very exciting. I loved the hotel business, and I went from the Ambassador to the Westin Bonaventure that I opened with the opening team, and I spent about 8 years in the hotel industry.
Had you studied that? You didn't go to Cornell or
No,
do
I went
any-
to USC in business.
Did they oh, I see.
They did not have a hotel program per se, but I was a business major,
So
and I just didn't want to get out of college without knowing what I wanted to do.
But those were 2 great places.
They were
And
a
you could have
great
dealt
start.
with food there.
And I did.
Did
I
you?
did. At the end of my career with Westin, I was restaurant manager of the Top of 5 restaurant at the LA Bonaventure.
Oh.
But I made a huge transition from hotel restaurant work to hotel HR work, and I became a director of human resources for Stouffer Hotels, traveled the country with Stouffer Hotels, and then came back to LA and made another career jump into high technology as a human resources director.
Yes, and
So-
how do we get to food?
Well, you know, underneath all of that, when my dad died when I was, you know, as I said, a teenager, I was a foodie.
Were you in junior high?
I was in high school.
And where was that?
Well, it was a small private high school in Pasadena. And
But did they have food?
No,
No,
they
had
it
given
was
that up.
strictly academic college
Right,
career
I
track,
see.
and I got out of high school very young, finished college very young, and but I was always recreationally involved in food. So,
Did you cook at home? Did your mother cook?
My mom cooked it. She was a typical Hungarian cook.
So
you know.
she was cooking all the time.
She was cooking all the time. Food was a big
Okay.
part of our lives
Okay.
and a big part of my life. And I developed this interest in going to chef school in France and I was lucky enough to have parents that said, you know, if you can afford to pay for it, you can do it. We'll support you. And so I took myself off I was still a teenager when I went to Cordon
when you went?
Bleu.
Oh, but they cook with butter and all the things
Exactly.
that you don't.
So bringing the conversation back to full circle, you said, did I learn how to cook healthy food there? Absolutely not.
No.
But what I did learn was that I loved working with food as well as learning about it and reading about it and being passionate about it. So at some point I decided to put together the training, the teaching, the counseling, all of those skills and the desire to help people, and I started NutriFit.
But you also started as your own, I mean, I think you motivated your own lifestyle coaching system.
I did.
If you put all these things together.
I did, and it's been a really rewarding journey because now I can bring into full circle the love for food, the passion for health, the affinity for exercise that I've developed.
I was going to ask you about that too. But NutriFit is
a healthy food company.
It's a company that delivers food, or can you go to it and buy? Can you
both.
buy it?
You can go to it and buy. Most of our meals are delivered or shipped all over the country. As you mentioned, we have a lot of high-profile celebrity clients, so we're lucky enough to be able to send food with them when they travel and send food to them when they're on set.
I see.
But we also have a very strong and loyal local base. This is our 26th year. Can you believe it?
And you take it to people's houses, drop it off, they eat it, they stay healthy.
It's like the little food fairy. You know, brings a bag of healthy, fresh, gourmet food. And we even now have our own farm, which is a
I was going to ask you, and these came from your farm.
These are our edible flowers, yeah.
And these came from the farm. What are they? I
farm.
can't believe you can eat these.
You can. Are you hungry?
Calendula, is it?
That's a marigold.
Marigold.
And there are some calendula in there. The little blue ones are particularly sweet. Those are called borage. And then there's some edible orchids.
I can't believe you could eat this.
You can. Not only that, we made a wonderful nasturtium soup today.
Oh, well, look at this.
Yeah,
this
I
blue,
know.
Isn't
that beautiful? That's the borage.
Mm.
And the leaves are edible and the flowers are edible.
And where do you use these?
And we use them in our food that we deliver to our clients. Some of it is
garnish.
In it,
or garnish.
Some of it is garnish, but no, we actually have recipes that feature the flowers, like the nasturtium soup.
And then would those recipes be in Cooking, Eating, and Living Well?
Not in this book, because this book was an early self-published book that I did back in the mid-90s. And it was before, really, I knew how wonderfully nutritious and delicious edible flowers could be. So it's a very simple cookbook.
This just has recipes, though.
It has 75 recipes and an 8-day meal plan. But my Body After Baby book,
yes,
which was more recently published in 2008 by a division of Penguin Books.
It's a big, heavy book.
It's a book, yes. It's a formal published book.
Stories and exercise.
Oh, you've read it.
I've read it. Of course, I read it. It's heavy. But it has, besides that, it has recipes, exercise, lifestyle hints.
Exactly.
And it's fantastic, and I think the person who did the drawings were great.
Oh, he was wonderful, wasn't he? I wanted to have very real-life illustrations in the book on how to do the exercises. So it's a 30-day plan to get in shape after you have a baby. And for some people, that's many, many, many years after they have babies. It's not just for immediate postpartum women.
Oh, that's interesting, that even if you're 10 years out, your child's 10 years old, pick it up and do it?
Absolutely. In fact, I have some families that follow the plan, the husband, the wife, the mom, the kids that are getting older and wanting to eat more healthfully. They still follow the Body After Baby plan.
You advocate exercise, and it seemed like the exercise in the book is really easy.
It is easy.
You start easy, and then you just keep. It's still easy to me.
Yeah, and it's designed to be doable. And again, bearing in mind that the book focus is on postpartum women. You want it to be doctor approved and safe, but effective. And again, we know that almost any movement is good movement.
Exactly.
So
but it's better when it's directed, like you tell them, like move your knee up and down, and you talk about the motion that it should be, and the arms. Did you ever work in a restaurant?
I did work in a restaurant. Of course, the top of 5 at the top of the LA
You actually
Bond
worked there, but
Adventures.
did you ever cook in a restaurant?
I did not. I have not been a restaurant cook. I've never had to do that job. I, fortunately skipped that phase.
But
and,
you're such a business person, and you
Well,
love food so much.
when I started NutriFit,
Yes, that's what I was going to ask.
I was the cook, the chief cook, bottle washer, menu planner.
Where did you start it?
We started with a client, actually. It all started with one client who is actually the relative of a very major Los Angeles icon, but in any event, without naming names, she asked me to come into her home and help her with her cholesterol because she had a huge cholesterol problem. So I came to her home and we started cooking together. And that begat the whole thing because she was so successful, it just inspired me to start doing it for other people and with other people, and we moved it from
her house?
From her house to a kitchen space that we rented with another caterer so that we were always licensed. And
that was great. So somebody's always working.
Yes.
In that space. Is it a big warehouse now, or is it?
It's, we have about 5,000 square feet of kitchen.
It's pretty big, yeah.
So it's not huge, but it's very efficient and well designed, and we're in a storefront location. Actually, we maintain very easy access for our clients because
people can come to that storefront?
We want them to come in. They can come in, they can see the big A on the window, they can see where their food is made, they can sit down and meet me, the staff.
Where is that?
And some people come in for coaching and get weighed, and other people. It's in West Los Angeles, actually at the corner of Barrington and Gateway.
Oh.
Right in the heart of West LA.
I know exactly where it is, but I haven't seen it.
If you take Gateway or have been on Gateway Ocean Park, you might remember a community market called Bob's Market. It was at the corner of Barrington and Gateway for many, many years. That's our space.
Oh, that's fabulous. So do you deliver only to the west side, or do you deliver all
over Southern California, Santa Clarita, all the way down through Orange County, all the way out to...
And what time do you start your deliveries? Because I bet it's at 3 in the morning.
The drivers come in at about 11:30 at night and take their routes after midnight. We have drivers who go to different parts of all of Southern California.
So they start at midnight?
They start at midnight, and they finish by the time traffic gets bad. And
that's interesting.
That's why
what would you deliver for a diet person, say 3 meals?
Well, if somebody was interested in losing weight, and bear in mind, I have clients who need to gain weight.
Oh,
I have clients who are professional athletes. We have right now a professional hockey player, an NHL hockey player. The last thing he wants to do is lose. He's trying to put weight on for the season. But let's say a typical client who wants to lose weight, we would tailor that meal plan to meet their individual need. So if they were a breakfast, lunch, and dinner person, they would also get a morning snack, an afternoon snack, an evening snack, soup or salad with their dinner, virtually everything you need to eat.
And
so
it's
that
all
you
there.
Don't have to go.
Are the utensils with it too?
Well, you're in individually portioned containers.
Yeah.
Every container is individually labeled. It has the name of the item, the meal period, the storage instructions, the reheating instructions. It's all set out and ready for you, so it's virtually painless to eat well.
It's fantastic. And the idea that you have your own farm and that you're there cooking and that you're worried about exercise and teaching people who need to gain weight. Can't you give us a couple of names of some before we leave? We only have a few seconds.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to serve some of Hollywood's elite names like Uma Thurman and Angelina Jolie, Reese Witherspoon, Penelope Cruz, a lot of big name celebrities.
Big name. How do they find you?
They find us through referral. It's all done through a referral, and we're fortunate enough to have, people who say good things about us.
I'm going to stop into the old Bob's Market and
see
you.
I wish you would.
And thanks for watching Jackie Keller. Get her books and keep watching the Joan Quinn Profiles, because we're going to be right back with artist Hector Zamora. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. We're here at the Max Factor building, where we started taping a few months ago, and we love the Hollywood Museum, which is housed in the Max Factor building. Artist Hector Zamora, who was born in Mexico City, now living in Brazil, and visiting Los Angeles for an art installation at the Red Cat Gallery in Disney Hall. It's across the street from MoCA and the Broad Museum. But being in this environment is not new to Hector. He's exhibited in biennales in Venice, Medellin, Cairo, Havana, Sao Paulo, and Busan over the years, and his projects include elements of architecture, urban design, building materials, geometry, color. Am I covering all of it? Did I cover everything that you do?
Well, almost.
Did you go to art school, architecture school, science, or sociology?
No, I am actually a graphic designer, but I did some studies in architecture, and yeah, I think this mixture, and also, yeah, because since a long time ago I was really interested in art.
You didn't go to art school?
No.
Where did you go to school?
In Mexico City, in the public university. I was studying graphic design for 4 years, from 94 to 98. And I got luck to have some professors that were artists, and they pushed me a lot to continue in that line as an artist.
How did the architecture come into it?
Well, this is because during that period I was sharing the school together with architects and also industrial designers, and some of them got a really good friend of mine. And then I was very interested also in how you can develop the space through the architecture. And then some of my friends invited me to make some studies, not enroll in the other public university, and yeah, for me it was very important. But
you use mathematics too.
Yeah, well, this was because the architecture for me was, well, since I was in the high school, I was almost in love for mathematics.
Oh, you were.
and well, then in architecture, this is very important because at that time I was not working in computers, and I was working by hand and making for some of the structures that we were developing at that time was always with mathematics, and yeah,
and also it encompasses sociology and anthropology in a way because you're dealing with the public in your buildings, in your pieces, your installations.
Yes, I think that I can say that in 2004, when I started to work more close to the public space in open spaces on the streets, I got this the interest to continue working for the public in that domain, and I think something that is very important when I am producing new projects in the public space is to try to be very in touch with the context where I am working, because as an international artist, this is a way to put the ball down and to try to make something more clear for the people that is on the space that I am working.
You want to interact with the people, but how do you interact? Because you build it by yourself, right? Or you build it with your staff?
Depends. I have some projects that involve with full interaction with the public, but others, depending of my proposals, are more something that I used to develop just from the artist side. But it doesn't mean that I am doing everything by myself. I used to involve a lot of people. It's a team that is behind.
A team, right.
Exactly.
Okay, we've been talking about what you do. We've been talking about all the elements of what you do, but we haven't really talked about the main piece, which is the project. So, and all the projects are different.
Yes. Yeah, because all of them are like a response that I am giving to the place where I am working. And one of the strategies that I am using to respond as close as possible to the local context is to use elements of the daily life that you can find in every specific place where I am working.
Local, so you do things that are local.
Exactly.
You find elements that are local.
I have only 1 week to try to find something. I make my research, like you were telling me, working with a little bit like anthropological way,
Anthropology, really?
archaeological
Yes.
way, but always focus in the reality where I am working. And then the ideas became from that research, and normally in the final object or
On the final
idea,
object, the final piece.
some of these things that I got during my research appear and are part and are the things that are trying to give you this contact with the artwork.
Is there anything that's ever saved from those pieces? Do you sell those as an artist, like pieces that come out of the project at the end?
Yeah, sometimes we have some part of the pieces that can be offered to the art market. Sometimes could be use the project itself,
Or the whole project,
the whole project itself, or maybe sometimes we have like a sub-products that sometimes are part of the artwork that could be part also of the...
Well, when Christo does these big projects, he does drawings. Do you do drawings ahead of time?
I used to do drawings, but more than drawings, I used to do models.
Oh, you do models.
Models, and this is also one of the parts that normally we try to sell to the
which is for sale to be to be a part of the piece that gets destroyed, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, for me, I think when we are, and this is something that I will working together with my galleries, when we are trying to offer something to the collectors from my artwork, we are trying to find something that will be not just a souvenir of my artworks. We are trying to give to the people something with more content. You know?
Something that's
with more meat. You know what I mean? Is the
it's
idea.
Not like you broke off a twig and this is part of Zamora's piece.
No, exactly. I am trying normally we include some extra elements on this in this object that the people will acquire. That could be some photographies, video, some things that at the end, when the people will have this on their collection, then later, if they show this together, they have something to show more about the history of that artwork.
Well, let's talk about the piece that's at Red Cat, and if we have time, we'll go back and ask you about the different projects all over the world. But in Red Cat, there's a space there. It's a big space. There's a gallery. There's a theater, which is a black box, which is fantastic. And
yes.
The gallery space is a certain size. A lot of the work that you've done are outside, so you have a lot of space. Here you're like confined, right?
Yes.
To a gallery space. And what do you call it? Panglossian paradigm?
Yes, well, this Panglossian paradigm is actually the title is already part of the artwork.
Oh, it is.
It's something that is bringing some ideas of evolution that are not the more normal way to see it, to talk about evolution as in the Darwinian way. This is more about they are talking more about the accidents, how things can change and have evolution, not really adapting, but maybe through accidents, through things that are not really in the main pattern, and then you have these new positions of the things that are in the evolution.
Is that what Panglossian is?
Yeah, this is more or less the idea of the Panglossian.
So you made it to the space that's at Red Cat, at the gallery.
Yes, well,
and you filled it. Looks like you filled every inch of it, did you?
Well, we were trying really to touch that space, because even that is something between walls. It's a complex space, because you have these columns. You have also the previous history of all the artworks that were already
shown. Does that fit into your feelings too of what you're doing, what was there before?
Exactly. I think it's important, because it's a space that is already church of many things that are already happening there. Also the location, to be in the downtown of Los Angeles, all that neighborhood that is very interesting, and
You're
quite
surrounded.
special. Yes.
You're surrounded by cultural. You have the big cathedral, you have the music center, you have museums, you have,
Yeah.
and then you have
And-
business, big business all
And
around
also a very interesting and weird life on the streets.
Oh, that's
That
true,
is
too.
that is also a very important part of the American culture. And in one way, it's sad because you can see a lot of people that is living on the streets,
Right.
the homeless, and this make a really rich environmental that is there, that is full of life, because you have all these different people, the business people, the people that is working in stores, the people that is
Right.
just walking to their jobs. You have all the metro stations, the movement is a place with a lot of life. I think
Okay,
so.
tell me, explain the building. To me, it looks like shopping carts, which is the homeless. Interesting. A building. You have a black window. You have a door.
Well, we are
Is
using.
it a structure?
We have two elements in this artwork. I am working with shopping carts, and the shopping carts are like the support of a timber wood structure.
Right. So it's all made out of wood. Is the wood
Exactly.
local?
Yeah, it's local. We were using this local technique of construction that you can see almost everywhere in California. That is very common in buildings here inside of the city. Also, we know that because that technology, almost all the suburbs around United States were possible because it's the structure that is all the houses made. And with this paradoxical combination of two very common elements of the American culture, I am trying to create some like a noise, like something that could
Stand up and listen to me.
Exactly, some vibrations in your mind to bring you to reflect about that.
But you know, just now, and before we leave, just now when you said that, I got part of it. The shopping carts, the people that you see on the street without homes are usually pushing with the shopping cart. And the structure is the home that they could have had, that they should have, or that other people have. So you've brought in all the sociology of that area.
Yeah, that area, and I think you can find a lot of different connotations that also can bring you to the economic crisis, because we are working with this house at the end means home, and how this is something that is now in an extreme crisis here in the United States. And it's interesting that at the end, the two elements still being the same. Is the shopping cart, is the construction system for houses. They still being very formal things, but it's very interesting how these elements have a conceptual evolution that brought us to the point to be a very iconic elements of the American culture. And it's something that is also related with the title that I am using in this artwork.
Fantastic. Hector, thank you so much for coming today. And good luck on all your other projects. We'll keep looking for you. And thanks for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Keep writing to 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017. That's downtown where Hector's doing his project. And also JAQUINN1 at AOL.com. See you next time.